My portfolio is 50, 20, 15, 15, Bitcoin, ETH, MicroStrategy, and Solana in this order. I just cashed out my ETH, and I would like to know, should I buy more Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, Sol, or Tesla in one shot, or DCA, or DCAS, as we like to say here? Is this the right time to buy, or should I wait it out? Thankfully, I have a TFSA account, which I would like to take advantage of. Unfortunately, time is not on my side, but at least I can start rebuilding for my children to benefit. Blessings to you and your family. First of all, I'm very sorry to hear about the setback you experienced due to your business partner. This is not the first time I've heard these types of stories, but it's also great you're looking to rebuild and secure your family's future. So remember, analyze very carefully who you get in bed with. And that includes literally getting in bed with and getting into business with. Sorry to sound crass. I know great people who have been in business with people for 10 years and they get stabbed in the back after all that time. Just, you know, it's like you really have to spend a lot of time understanding, just like researching a company or an asset, understand who you're in partnership with. So let's move that out of the way. Second of all, we are at a very interesting time right now where you have sold, what was it, 20%? You just sold your ETH, correct? Which is 20%. So I assume you have 20% cash right now. And because you got in with 100K in 2020 and you're in the right assets, you did very, very well, as we saw here in this chart too. But first of all, we are in a little bit of a crisis mode, which actually is what I live for. I like running into burning buildings. And this is kind of timely, and it ties into my long conversation yesterday about tariffs. But tariff crisis right now we're living through means a lot of uncertainty and very high volatility, which means good buying opportunities. But what I want to point out here is what happens 10 days after a crisis and 60 days after a crisis. So Bitcoin, you can see US Iran escalation 2020, 12 days, 20 days, Bitcoin does really well. 12% up, 20% up. Election challenges in 2020, 10 days after, 19% Bitcoin is up, and 131% within 60 days. Ukraine invasion, I remember that trade like it was yesterday. The minute that happened, I knew, which is terrible. I'm very anti-war and everything else, but at the same time, anyway, I won't talk about that. I don't want to trigger people. And regional banking crisis. I remember Bitcoin went up 25% in 10 days and 32% in the next 60 days. And the yen carry trade, again, that wasn't quite as good because there was just bad market timing. And August sucks. Okay, it's a bad month. Everybody's away on vacation. Nothing really happens. That's why we didn't get a big return there. But now we're going through a crisis. And I can tell you, okay, Bitcoin down at 97K is probably an extremely good buy. And it'll probably be a lot higher 10 days from now and 60 days from now. It's on the internet, so you can come back and watch this video in a few months. So you have this buying opportunity on your lap. The question is what to buy. The other thing as well, Bitcoin, you go see here, is very far from overheated. This is a pure multiple of 1.5. We got a long way to go. The overheated zone begins at 3.5, which means the Bitcoin cycle is still early. No banana zone yet. No euphoria yet. That will come. And remember this, my crude chart. This is what I believe will happen in 2025. We're going to get this. I just don't know when. Is it going to happen in the next 60 days, the next 90 days, 120 days? Somewhere around that time frame, things will kick off. And that's when you need to be careful. So all of these first three questions, and we're only on the second one, will tie into each other. And hopefully the story will begin to make sense in a few minutes. So when I look at your holdings, not financial advice, but if I was you, and imagine, and the corollary is also true for this, okay? If you imagine you are 65% Bitcoin, which I include MicroStrategy, you're 15% Sol, 20% cash, and you have no Tesla. I would work as hard as I possibly can to build up at least a 25% Tesla position. That's exactly pretty much where I am right now myself. Now, if it was the other way around, if I was 100% Tesla or 65% Tesla and no Bitcoin, I do the same thing. Allocations matter. You don't want to be all in on one thing. You want to have high conviction, very few assets, but also good allocations. Okay, that's my method. It's what's worked for me in life. But also remember, things can get screwed up by complete crazy outperformance in terms of actual size of positions. Sol Strategies is another example of that, of how a September trade just went crazy. Anyway, this is where we are right now. But remember also, we're late in the bull market. And people hate when I say that. It's not over, but it's also not beginning as well. So I would try build up your Tesla bag as quickly as possible with that 20%. And the question is, why Tesla? I mean, and I know half the population on the planet absolutely hate Elon Musk. I get it. I spend my life trying to understand human behavior and how the mind works, because that is so important in investing. Once you figure out how the reptile brain works, you'll be a much better investor. But why? This is shout out to Tesla Economics. A simple little chart. Tesla is a $1,000 stock trading at $400 with electric vehicles and energy storage. In fact, I have calculated that the energy storage business alone will be worth $1 trillion in the year 2026. By the way, rumor has it, they're opening up a new mega factory, like a gigafactory for megapacks in Berlin. Not sure, but that could be happening. They are opening a third. We just don't know the location of it as well. So that business is easily worth $1 trillion. So first thing, $1,000 stock, you can buy for $400. Now, Tesla is a $2,000 stock trading at $400 with the Cybercab and unsupervised FSD, which are coming in June. All right, we're in Feb already. June isn't very far away, ladies and gentlemen. That's a 5x. And I've said vocally, by 2030, Tesla, worst case scenario, is a $2,000 stock. Worst case scenario. There's not many places you can get a 5x. Yeah, we've had 15x's and 20x's like crazy. But 5x risk reward, where the risk is very low and the reward is pretty much guaranteed, again, is a no-brainer. And final part, Tesla is a $5,000 stock, trading at $400 with Optimus, which is coming in the fall. 5,000 of them will be running around in the fall, which again is crazy. And Tesla Economics says, your skepticism is my alpha. Very few believe. I've believed this for years, but now it's really happening. It's right there. You can just nearly reach out and touch it. So that's why Tesla. So anyway, people call me a Tesla fanboy. No, it's just been very kind for me since 2017. So I like alpha. I don't care in what form it comes or who is behind it, as long as they're not a sociopath. That's where I draw the line. Or as long as their products don't hurt people.